Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov every Monday through Thursday at 8:30. It's getting fun out there. Another up day. I think we're going to go the whole month in Nasdaq without a down day. What do you think? Or or maybe not. Anyway, market market's a little crazy. You're on mute, I believe.
I'm back.
There you go. Oh, there
Um,
you are. No,
yeah,
not ready for
just
the
saying
Monday
again,
morning, huh?
defying seasonality. Again, defying seasonality.
I don't know. I don't know about seasonality. Could come in the last week of the month, and we can go down 10%, and then you'll say seasonality is in effect. So, I mean, come on. The market is so in tune to like day trading that it's crazy. And, I sent you something, old friend of mine and a guy who traded with me in 1999, and he was in my office on Thanksgiving Friday of 1999 when things got crazier than crazy. It was a half a day of trading, and they were rocketing all of these internet stocks at the time, like the way they do with some of these stocks now. It wasn't really happening. And then obviously the top came in, but I don't know. I mean, last night, Nvidia had bad news. I happened to be up, and I watched the stock drop $5 in basically 1 minute. On these retail sites. And then as that was happening, the Nasdaq actually was rallying, which was amazing because they were buying Apple. So I guess that's the hedge, right? Sell Nvidia, buy Nvidia, sell Apple. They don't really have, a lot to really do with each other. Apple has 80 businesses and Nvidia has one. And I actually got kind of happy this morning. Trump came out and says he doesn't want quarterly earnings reports. You know, I don't know really why. I guess he thinks it's a pain in the neck for the companies to report. But I actually think without that, you're having less chance to have the market rally because you get Jensen Wang's out there or Wang or whatever, and he's out there touting his company with pom poms on, saying how amazing it is. Now you only have to hear from that guy basically twice a year, which is better. And the stock will trade, the way it trades. But overall, another up morning. Interesting day on Friday. The Nasdaq was up big, the S&P was flat, and the Dow was down 300. Okay, so today probably the Dow will outperform the Nasdaq, and the S&P will chug along. So the computers are in full effect, you know, ripping these markets, and I just don't understand it. Like I was watching, this company is the biggest company in the world, basically. And it was down at $1.5 and the NASDAQ wouldn't go down. And then I went back to sleep. It was like 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. And then I wake up and the NASDAQ's back up. I mean, it's not up a lot. And I think it's going to get hit today. But, it's just surprising to me that this is happening. And, I guess the news of the day is Elon Musk bought another $1 billion. He doesn't have enough. Wait, he doesn't have enough of his own stock. He needed another billion. I mean, and then you want to know what was really interesting? You know what his price average on the buy is? It's actually crazy. He was down a lot. He was down almost $80 on his buy or more, $90 on his buy. Now he's up because the stock ripped off the news, but his price averages are like 389. I mean, the stock, we bought it for our subscribers with an option trade last 2 weeks ago, what would be 311 on the stock. We sold it too early. We had like a 25% gain in basically less than 5 days. But I mean, he was down a lot of money. So it's just interesting to me that now they're piling in because he bought it. And, it's an odd lot for him. It's a literal, what's his net worth? I mean, what is it? 100 billion more, bro. It's like you buying like 1,000 shares of Nvidia or whatever. It doesn't seem What was that? Eric, are you there?
I was waiting for you.
Okay. Dude, you're out of it today, dude. What were you trading all night or something? I don't
I'm
know.
just waiting for you to tell me all the news about Tesla and everything. But
And then
Tesla's
I threw it over to you to see if you had any thoughts on it. I'm
the way I'm looking at it the last couple of weeks. It's a bunch of singular news events focused on specific companies in the Nasdaq, and every single time the news comes out, it's kind of like passing the mantle along and changing sentiment and to the upside. Right now, it's Tesla. It was Tesla on Friday as well. I mean, they had some news with their with the DMV out there in Texas, allowing the driverless cars to take road tests, which is a step forward, and stock rallied on that. Technically, Tesla was looking like a breakout. I think it broke out on Friday. Today, you have Musk buying shares, so every day it's
No,
something. It was broad
he bought
and
shares and
Oracle.
dude, he bought shares and filed. That's old. He started buying like a month ago, over a month ago. So that's just the filing of what he did. And yes, but my question to you is you have Tesla up 30 something dollars. Okay. On Friday, Tesla was up less than $30. And the NASDAQ was up 100 on Friday. And today, Tesla's up 35. And because Nvidia's down and Apple was rallying, but they don't need Apple anymore, so they could like smooth that out. The NASDAQ barely up. What's it up? 25, 30 points on the NASDAQ? It's actually coming in. It's up like 30. I mean, that's pretty weak. The Dow and the S&P are outperforming, but it's day every day this month of the same thing where what I saw last week, which I've never seen, is you had one day where Apple went down 7 and Nvidia went up 7, and it looked like it was a correlated trade by an algorithm that was just doing this trade. And then if you look at Nvidia and Apple Thursday and Friday, Apple rallied back 6 of the $7, and Nvidia came in small. So like, what is going on? Like, how are these algos surviving these? I mean, maybe they're day trading it, or I don't know, but anyone that's putting positions on, and we discussed it, offline, like where you're looking at these spreads, they don't work. They're not working. I mean, you may think they're working, but I don't see them working. These spreads are just not, they're not working. They're working for the day, but you got to get in and out. I'm going to take a look at Tesla to the other side. I think it's probably a sell the news type of event. You know, and Trump just came out and said TikTok has a deal. I don't know. It's a private company. I don't know what the big deal is, but the funniest thing is that's owned by Susquehanna. Um, the trading firm is the largest shareholder in that, and Jeff Yaz is friends with Trump, so Trump's really pushing to get a deal done there. Um, and overall, bonds are ticking up slightly. They were lower last night. Now they're up. Currencies is a problem. It's at 117 and a half. It's done this trade multiple times. Oil up a little today. Still, chopping around, the 61 and a half low area up to maybe 64, 65. It'll be interesting. They're meeting in Europe again with China. Supposedly, they're not talking about, a trade deal, but I'm sure maybe they'll come out with fake headlines of another fake trade deal. Dude, they've been working on this trade deal since 2018, and it's like it's pretty unbelievable. I mean, they can't get it done. Uh, you know, we go from they're the axis of evil. And then Trump was like touting them today on Truth Social, talking about quarterly earnings and how China, you know, doesn't look at things for like 50 years. But why would you want to be like the Chinese stock market? It's like unregulated, and it's manipulated by, gangsters in China. So like,
When you talk about gambling and how American culture has become more of a gambling society, the Chinese stock market is known for that, which is interesting. A few weeks ago they tried to come out with something to suppress the speculation, and
mhm.
I don't even think that worked over there. So
I don't. I think their markets have been terrible, actually. I don't think their markets have been rallying. Our markets have been absolutely crazy. But, if you look at the return for the year, it's very good, but it's not like out of control. I think what's happening is these moves are happening inside of individual stocks. So they're able to move Tesla 35 points today, okay, or 40 points, right? Because they're taking Nvidia down, and they may take Apple down later in another stock. So that's what they do here. And then the markets kind of, go up because they always go up, but they don't go up a lot because they're getting out of one to get into another. And then tomorrow they'll be getting out of Tesla and buying back Nvidia. And it's so on and so on. And, we have the Fed, and that's the big deal on on Wednesday. And my thought, just talking about that pre meeting, they're resting a lot on the fact that the Fed is going to be very, very dovish, and that the Fed is going to carry forward with multiple interest rate cuts moving forward. And I was listening today. I mean, someone was saying three by the end of the year. I don't know how they're going to get three, but let's say it's two. But what was interesting, and this is what I don't understand, they were saying, whoever was on, an analyst from, I think, I don't know if it was Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan, that they're going to then go to neutral and stop easing. So I don't know. It just seems very contrived.
what is I don't. Do they know what is the neutral rate? Like,
No,
is it 2%?
neutral, not on a neutral rate, just neutral on cutting. They're going to go from cutting cycle, or cutting a couple of times, to a neutral. So that being said, I'm a little bit leery here. The market's been very, very, very strong. Today could be an interesting day because they have all the ducks are lined up in a row, right? And volatility is so low. I mean, it's so low. We're selling like $20 out of the money call spreads for like $1.50, $2. It's just very tough to do. So like we've been there a little bit for our subscribers, but not a lot. And I'm hoping that something gives. And you know, we say it every day, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but maybe today, something gives at some point. But it's the
That's been
same.
actually that's been a major problem over the last couple of weeks. Is using options as a hedge or selling premium just doesn't make sense with with premium so low, so close to the money.
It's very, listen, it's very, very risky business. But listen, until proven wrong, you're proven right every day. So the bottom line is there is a reason why it's so low. And the reason is because they just buy the market every day. So whether they're going to buy it big today or small today or whatever, they've been buying it every day. I mean, I don't think the
Yeah, but
Nasdaq.
usually you'll get something out of the money, especially if it's early on in the day. But even early, like right now, the Straddles 17.
Right. So what is it? I
So
mean, that's as low as it's. I honestly think that's as low as it can be. I think that's literally zero. That's literally saying we're not going to move 15 basis points the whole day either way. I mean, you might as well just go home. But you know what's happening? All these crazy gamblers and people out there sitting in chat rooms looking for the next big hurrah are just they don't care about the broad market. They only care about the next, stock that's gonna, go up like QMMM from $2 to $250, and it's not even a real company. So I think that you're seeing a lot of that in the market, and you're seeing you know, a friend of mine's wife is a teacher, and like kids are trading in the back of the classroom. I mean, what do you make of that? I mean, they're pulling out phones and they're trading. My kids all have Robinhood accounts, and they're trading. Everybody's trading. I mean, my kids are definitely smarter than me. They're just looking, to buy different things and get rich literally in a day. I mean, that's what's gone on here. And then you lay on top of it the option flow, which is astronomical. I mean, that's really where the speculation is taking place on these zero DTEs. So that's adding fuel to the fire. But, you know, again, when you have a 14 volatility and not a lot going on, like it's like the kids playing with fire. You can play with fire until you get burned. So they haven't gotten burned. They're playing with fire. They're doing great. They're throwing the fire up. They're catching it in their hand. And you ever see those fire guys? They like eat the fire. They're eating the fire. They're you know they're fine. So we'll see. I just think it's interesting, with the Nasdaq up like 30 points on the day or 35 points and having Tesla up $35 is just weird to me. Because they don't want it to get away. So they're buying that stock all day, but they're selling three other names. I don't know what they are. I know one of them is Nvidia. I'm sure there's a couple of others in the Mag 7 that are not up. And you discuss this a lot. Like, even when the Mag,
Microsoft's down, Nvidia's down, Meta is down.
right,
Netflix has been really weak, by the way.
that's your
Um,
favorite. That's your
Broadcom, or as you like to call it, Agave, um,
favorite.
is down.
Well, of
So
course
again,
they have to
Palantir
be.
is down.
They have to be down,
Palantir,
Eric. They have to be down. Because if they were up, the market would be exploding. So now your day is based on Nvidia, okay, and what Nvidia is going to do. Not Nvidia and Tesla, what they're going to do today. But overall, it's just an amazing thing that you have a straddle at that price, and you've had really no down days for the month of September, going into a Fed meeting where it's pretty much guaranteed that they're cutting, right? But it really doesn't matter because it's more a matter of what they say. So I just think you know you got to pick your spots. It's very, very difficult. I mean, let's say you had a portfolio and you're long Apple and short Nvidia. Last week you're getting killed. This week you're back. So it's like everything's back in line and the market is higher. But I think there's a lot more resting on this Fed meeting than people really think. And I mean, unless this guy Powell is checked out, I think he has to tell the truth. You know, and the truth is that we have a very frothy stock market. We kind of have weak growth. We have inflation that's not really showing through, but it's there. And even if it's not there, you got CPIs and PPIs in the threes. That's not where they want it. They want it in they wanted it too. Um, so I don't know how it gives them the green light to just cut rates. I know he's backed into a corner, and he can't take it. It's like being, you know, browbeat by a bully. He couldn't take it. He kowtowed in Jackson Hole, which was surprising to me how he laid it on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have thought, well, I think you did think that he wasn't going to do that. So, you know,
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Jackson Hole. I feel like the market already rallied on potential rate cuts on the day of Jackson Hole. Like the market melted up on that. And I mean, are they rallying on the same news again, two, three, four, five times? I mean, they
of
already
course,
rallied on that.
that is what they're doing. And right now, listen, right now, there's literally no one to stop them. There's no one to stop the market. No one can get in front of it. No one could sell. Um, the longs, like I always say, it's funny. Like if I said to someone right now, you could sell Nvidia at 250, but you can't trade it for 2 years. You know how many people are taking that deal? No one. They think it's going to double or triple or quadruple. They think it's going to be a $20 trillion company. So you know, it's pretty crazy. What
Here's the thing about rates that is very interesting to me. So, I mean, the market's been rallying. We're getting all these expectations for rate cuts. You mentioned we're going to get three by December, according to who was it, Goldman, you said, or JP Morgan or something like that. Well, here's the yield curve, the 210 spread. This month has just been dropping. So the 2 year hasn't really been going down. It's been the back end of the curve that has been going down and actually flattening the curve. So with all these rate cuts on the horizon, uh, wouldn't you expect the yield curve to be doing the opposite of what it's doing right here?
um, I don't know. I just think it's a matter of what the hedge funds are doing. And listen, they're
I think it
contrived.
places a
This
lot of
market is
importance on what they're going
contrived.
to say on.
What?
I think that places even more importance on what they're going to say on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's very easy right now for large hedge funds and Citadel and Jane Street to manipulate the market because there are no players. There's nobody out there. Nobody. There's no there's no volume on any products. I mean, Friday actually, believe it or not, in E-mini S&P and in SPY had good volume for the first time, decent volume. And we sold off, and then you come in and you're right back up. So it's difficult. It's difficult to navigate. We got to be patient. The move is coming. I know no one believes it. Okay, there's very little left here in my mind. I mean, come on. The Nasdaq's up 17% for the year after being down 30. Okay. It was down 30. It's up 17. If it closes up over 20, it'll be the third year in a row it's up over 20, which would make the market up 75% in 3 years. Okay. Now, anything is possible, but I just think, I'm not giving up on the fact that I believe there'll be some trading here. And it's just surprising to me that nobody wants to get out of anything. Eric, I'm telling you, if you offered these deals that I'm explaining, hey, you could double your money, but you can't trade the stock for 2 or 3 years, they're not satisfied doubling their money. Doubling their money, the market averages 7 or 8% over the lifetime of the market per year. So it would take you basically 8 years to get that return, and they wouldn't take it. I'm telling you, they wouldn't take it. No one would take a profit here at any level. No one is sitting there going, wow, Nvidia, I bought it at 110, it's 170, I should get out. Nobody. So that's what scares me here, is just the insatiable appetite for owning securities and not understanding the risk that you're taking. But right now, we're in a phase where it just nothing matters, dude. If there was horrendous news over the weekend, the market would be up. Would not matter. Listen, the only news that came out last night was Nvidia and the China news, and the stock was down 5 overnight, and the Nasdaq future didn't even go down. Didn't even go down on news like Nvidia down 5. You would think the Nasdaq futures would be down 150. 200. Nothing. Zero. It was down like 10 at the most on the night. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. So, we'll see what happens today.
Well, by
Market.
definition, you mentioned, okay, we're going to get trading. By definition, this week should be all about trading. We have quad witching, right? That's your favorite trade. And we're going to have a Fed.
Yeah,
So,
but listen, when I do quad witching, which we're going to put out a trade in quad witching for subscribers either today or tomorrow, usually the straddles are $40 to $50 minimum per day. So there's a lot more opportunity to make money. Right now, we could be lucky because the premiums are so low. But overall, I mean, I remember quad witching. Let's say the index, I'm making up a number, is 6,000. 400 point up or 300 point up calls were like $5. I mean, on a Monday, Tuesday for the week. I just don't, maybe there's more vol coming in Wednesday. Where's the Wednesday straddle? Can you pull that? That thing should be at least
yeah,
50.
hold on.
That should be at least 50.
What do you think it is?
What?
What do you think it is?
I said it should be 50 at least. What?
Um, it slightly higher, 53.
Right. Dude, that's why I do this for a living. That's not bad, right? So, and I think that's low. I actually think we're going to have over 100 point move on this if it doesn't go the way that the market believes it should go. But 53, because that includes today's trading, tomorrow's trading, and Wednesday's trading. I mean, that's pretty low, I would think, into a Fed.
Today's straddle is at 17. Wednesdays is at 53. I'll take that. I'll take 53. As long as it stays at
Right,
53
but
by
Eric,
Wednesday.
if you have 53, that also includes today and tomorrow. So the market can move 30 points today or 20 points today, 10 points, 20 points tomorrow. Then you're going to have to readjust your level on where the straddle is, and you'll look at that same straddle will be $50 to $60. So, but it just depends on, where the market's going to end up on Wednesday morning. I think it's very low, very, very low. I just, this is unbelievable. Like literally, we're sitting here, it's 9 o'clock, right? And the Nasdaq future is 8 points off the high of the day. It's going to explode up. I mean, it's just why are they waiting? Why don't they just take it up? I don't understand it. Like, let it explode up. Let it do whatever. But why do we have to have these contained 15-point moves every single day? And when we're having them, like Friday is a prime example. Nasdaq was bid to the moon. The Dow was down 300, which is not a good day, and the S&P was flat almost to the tick, to the dollar. So, like, what's today going to be? What are they going to do today? Like, you'll know after like the first 30 minutes of trading. Oh, they're going to buy Nasdaq, sell S&P, or blah, blah, blah. I mean, why can't they sell or buy all of it? I'm just trying to understand it because tomorrow they turn around and do the opposite. So today they left S&P alone. So S&P is outperforming Nasdaq, right? And the Dow is probably going to outperform the S&P because that's the opposite of what it did the day before. And this has been going on almost every day, literally almost every day. And I would say a year ago or 6 months ago, when you were trading, you were making a living trading these intermarket spreads, So I don't know how you look at it. Like, how do you know today what's going to happen? Like,
Well, I look at that spread and I'll initiate a position or get out of it based on some technical indicator, usually like a 15-minute RSI on that spread. I think is a pretty good indication of a potential turn. Then you kind of look at, okay, what's been leading that spread, and you're looking for a signal for it to go the other way to pull the trigger. But it's just been, yeah, the last 10 days have, it's, as a trader, you're looking at this and you kind of looking at the market like, okay, I know it's going up and it's been up 250 points off the low, but the fact that they're buying one thing every day and selling another, and you're seeing, it's a little bit of a clown show. It just looks fake. As a trader, you look at it and you're like, okay, it doesn't have that feel of a market that is really reacting to some sort of big fundamental change, um, where you can kind of like, okay, this is a sea change for the market. I could park my money here for the next 3 years because of this one news event. It's just like a bunch of random
Well,
one-offs.
listen, I mean, for this podcast, I would say we bought the low. We made 20%, 18%, but we were out of that. That happened within a month and a half. The last 2.5, 3 months have gone another 30%, right? And it's relentless, like literally relentless. It doesn't stop, and I think as the Nasdaq's making a brand new high of the whole move. I mean, it's it's just an amazing, amazing, amazing market that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you have to respect it. I do believe it's going to come in big, but every day, like today's over. You can listen, today's over for what I do and potentially what you do. It's not over for the junkies, looking for the next fix, trading some crazy stock that's going to move 20, 30 points out of a chat room. That is where the bubble is really being created. That these guys, whoever they are, the Hello Kitties, the new Hello Kitties, can jam up stocks, get 500 people in a chat room. Listen, think about that. I mean, do you think that's even legal? Like, there's 500. Like, if you have the ability to move a stock because you have an army of people, I mean, that seems pretty illegal to me, but what do I know? So what's happening is everybody's getting together in a chat room. They pick a stock and they just jam it up. And there's no one here because Citadel, Jane Street, and 10 other market makers, no one makes a market. No one puts stock out there on a bid or offer. You could see it. Go to your level three. There's nothing out there. These, like I worked at Spear Leads, when we were the specialists, we were obligated to make markets. Like these guys are not obligated to do anything. They're obligated to front run flow. So, that's what they do. It's kind of, I would say a little depressing, because there's no size to be had, and they can move the biggest stocks in the world, billions and billions of market cap in a day, and then still keep the market on a freight train up. You know, so we'll see if we get some trading today. The $17 straddle is not looking promising. It's interesting. I was looking at bonds, to buy them. They got up to 408 last night. They're trading at 403. I think they're going to trade below four prior to the Fed. And then, depending on positioning, may even go lower. I know you don't like that trade, but that's the way it's looking to me. And I'm staring at my screen, and it still has Friday's Dow close on it. The Dow closed down 300 on Friday, 300. Okay, and the Nasdaq was up 100. I mean, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never seen stuff like this where you got to figure out what market they're buying today, where the buying is, but every day there's buying of something. Like, why can't the market just sell off all three markets? Like, why is that a big deal? Like, I don't
Then they would make your life easier, and that's not what the market wants.
No, it wouldn't make anything easier. I don't trade the Dow, so that would be irrelevant to me. And, I position usually either Nasdaq or S&P. So for me, it wouldn't make my life easier. It's just it would make me understand what is going on in the market a little bit better. Um, and it's funny that Tesla's up so much because Elon bought a billion, he bought 2 million shares. How much stock does Elon own? I mean, he's got to own so much stock that it's unbelievable. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. And I'm sure he has more in a holding company, but I mean, this is not. I mean, it's big in general, but it's not big for what he has. He has massive
Pretty,
positions.
it's pretty amazing. Tesla up 8%
Oh wait, wait,
pre-market.
wait. Do you know how much? Do you know how much stock he owns? It's mind blowing. Actually, he bought 2 million shares. He has 500 million shares. So it's not even. It doesn't even move the needle on anything. Like why would he do it? Just I know why. Just to pump the stock
I
up.
mean, it's just a gesture because
No,
of
to
his.
pump the stock up. To pump it up. And he started over 400 and it went to 300. I'm just telling you. What do you
Maybe.
mean
I
why?
mean, I
Why?
don't know. Musk
What
has
is
told the
2 million
public in the
shares
past.
doing for that guy?
Musk has told the public in the past, my stock is overvalued. You shouldn't be buying it.
Eric,
And then he's
you're
and they
talking
didn't
you're
listen to me.
talking timeout. You're talking 8 years ago. You're not talking
It wasn't 8 years ago.
recently. Okay. It was 8 years ago or whatever, even more. I mean,
If
come
you
on.
if you ask him the
How can
honest
he tell
question right now,
timeout?
he'd probably say the same thing.
How could he tell you his stock is overvalued and then buy the stock? Okay, that doesn't even make sense. So he obviously believes the stock is undervalued. Otherwise, he wouldn't be buying it. Okay, and so whatever you're saying is what they call old news. If he's buying the stock, it can't. He doesn't think it's overvalued. Why would he buy it? He'd be selling. Do you know how much stock he sold the first time it ran up? I mean, it was insane. He was plowing out of that stock like nobody's business. So, him buying it is a gesture. It's not changing anything, but it's the perception in the market loves that, perception. So, the stock went from early
Enough
to
to move enough to move it 10% pre-market.
I think
That's it.
it's I think it's a trading short. I just, the problem with the situation is that, there's one it's a one-way train in everything, you know. If Nvidia is going down, you don't want to get in the way of it. Okay. Look at Nvidia's move last week. Last Monday, Nvidia started the week at 164. It ran up to 179. Okay. That's more than it moved on earnings. Okay. 179. And now it could trade back into the 160s, if it continues lower. Um, so it'll go right back. So the fact is, you got to get out of the way, let them do what they do, and like today, if you're trading, you want to remain short the weak names, then you want to buy the strong names, and that's all that's been going on. And I wouldn't even call it sector rotation. I call it I call it like craziness. It's like I don't know. I'm telling you, we bought Tesla options when the stock was 311. That was less than 2 weeks ago. I mean, the stock is up over 30% in a week and a half. I mean, I don't know. Did it get that much better? So, we'll see what goes on here today. Like you said, I think the straddle today is mispriced. But maybe there's an opportunity to buy something around that. But 17 it's just brutal. And inherent volatility is like 5 for the day. I mean, that's so basically you can throw the towel and the day's over. I don't think that's the case, but that's what the market is telling you. And I don't know. What's Tesla up now? 35, 33, and the Nasdaq's only up 40 points. It was up double this on Friday. I mean, so they're selling other stocks under the surface, and if Tesla comes in, maybe they take the Nasdaq red because, they'll just add to the selling pressure. So I would keep an eye on it. I don't see a lot, on a trading level to give a trade. I do think that they're underestimating the Fed, and they're thinking that the Fed is going to lay down and basically signal, you know, multiple cuts. And, you know, listen, we've discussed it. Should the Fed even cut rates right now? You know the answer. The answer is no way. But they're trapped, they're trapped. Do you think they're going to that meeting and saying, holy cow, the Nasdaq rallied 47% off the low and the S&P was down 20. We were in a bear market for one day. What would signal a bear market? One day. And
If they're not discussing it, everybody in that Fed is thinking it 100%.
but I'm saying, and the S&P is up about 35% off the low. Why does the Fed need to make a move when there's really nothing signaling that they should? Listen, the jobs number came in a little bit weaker. They got 38,000 jobs created versus 100. I mean, we have 350 million people. That's like, to me, in line, still a positive number. Obviously, the revisions were part of the Biden administration's lie on. But how does that make you feel? I traded 12 employment numbers that I got my head spun around on, and every one of the 12 was fake. They had negative job growth, but they were putting out positive job growth. That doesn't get you like upset. Like you're sitting there, you're putting positions on, you're like, listen, job growth is slowing, it's really, really bad. And then the number comes in amazing. Like, and the number isn't real. It's not even close to real. They lost 1 million jobs. That's basically 100,000 jobs per month. They weren't even creating 100,000. So all of these numbers were flat to negative every single month. But you're trading and the numbers coming in good and they're running up the market and it's not a real number. And then when they do the revisions, market doesn't care. Market doesn't care. I'm telling
I,
you, this market
I don't
doesn't
think,
care about
to be honest with you, I don't think the market should care about any of these economic indicators, only because I think I think they're priced in. I think the market knows this much better than the BLS and all these
How does the
um,
market know much better? Who is the
the
market? The
market knows
market's a
that they're
bunch of
close to
guys.
the
I
ground.
mean, some
Um,
guys think it's real, some guys think it's fake, some
so
guys
it's
think
a
they
little bit of
swung.
that efficient market hypothesis thing, but they know. They have boots on the ground and they know. I mean, just think about it.
No way.
They can
Then
look
why
at
aren't they? Why
parking
aren't they
lots from
screaming and
space,
shouting?
and they could
Why
look
aren't
at
they
parking
screaming and
lots from
shouting?
space. They don't need the jobs number to come out. That's why every single time you have a economic number that comes out, typically uh, the price moves get reverted within 72 hours.
But then why have them? They're using them for something. I mean, the Fed
They
is
use it
certainly
for
looking at them.
policy and for long term decision making and all that stuff. But from a trading point of view, all of these moves on these economic reports get reverted fairly quickly.
I don't know about that, my friend. I don't think they do. Okay. Some of them might, some of them don't. I mean, what do you mean they all get reverted? They don't
They
all
do.
get reverted.
For the most part, they do.
Not if,
And
oh yeah, if the number's negative for the market and it goes down, it gets reverted. But the number, listen, I don't know how you're saying that. The one thing I'm noticing here in the market is whenever there's bad news, the market doesn't go down. And anytime there's good news, it explodes. So I don't know what reversion. There hasn't been a reversion unfortunately, in the last, I mean, now it's April, May, June, July, August, and now September. So it's 6 months. There hasn't been a reversion of anything, maybe like 1 or 2 days of reversion in 5 months. So I don't know how you're saying they're
I'll go back.
reverting the
I'll,
number.
I'll go back to the Jackson Hole speech. Right, that was a big economic event, the market overreacted to it, melted up that day. What happened 2 weeks later? That whole move got taken out.
Eric, but A, for what we do, and for 90% of the people watching this show, and 90% of the people in the market, they're not waiting. Nobody's waiting 2 weeks to have a market go back down. Okay. They're worried. These people are worried about the next 20 minutes and praying that the market holds up. Okay. That's the market we're in. I mean, do you think they care? They got the Jackson Hole move. It was explosive. They made a lot of money. They get out. It's the same reason why none of these trends that you're seeing in the market right now that you follow, buy Nasdaq over S&P. Dude, if you're in that trade for more than 4 hours, you have no shot. It'll just revert back or whatever. So, listen, what I'm seeing right now, and maybe today ends it, but it's like all the news is looked at good. Nothing is bad no matter what, and they buy no matter what. But today, to me, is a little bit interesting because the Nasdaq futures are up like 40 points with stocks mixed all over the place, and Tesla. If Tesla's holding up the market, I don't know if it's the right stock to do that. It's not an Nvidia, you know, it's not even a $1 trillion company. I don't believe. I think it's still under a trillion or in that area. Maybe it's slightly over. Let me take a look. But it's not one of the top seven horsemen. It's one. Well, today it'll be up more, but it's 1.4 trillion. You have six stocks that are more than that, maybe more. So, it's not Google, it's not Apple, So we'll see. And maybe today we'll get some trading. Let's hope. And again, I think the straddle could be wrong today. So keep an eye on that. And it's interesting. Like the Nasdaq feels to me a little bit heavy, and Nvidia news was very, very bad. Like that they're not going to be selling into China, and I mean we've known that, but it's kind of like official now, and the stock's barely down. Like if the market was in a bad tape, the stock would be down 20, 15 instead of 3. So that's what I see. We're getting close to the opening. I don't know if you want to end on.
Yeah, we have some questions from your audience. So I'm going to share a couple of charts to answer them, and I'll give you guys what trade I'm in today at the end. So here's Bitcoin. We have a question on Bitcoin. The way I look at Bitcoin is there was a trend that started. You go back to 2024, early part of 24. It was in a very long consolidation, and then that started to break out right where that green line is right here, and that was Trump. And that trend line has basically been maintained ever since, and it's been hugging that, and it has been finding support there. So I would look at that trend line. I would look at around the 110. If you're long and you're looking for an area to cut, if on a stop loss, I would say below 110 here. This trend line to me is important because that the reason Bitcoin is up since the Trump election is because of the Trump election. So that trend line needs to get maintained. We had a question on gold seasonality. So here's a heat map of gold broken out by month over the last 25 years. So right now we're in September and heading into October. These 2 months are kind of mixed. If you want to know my personal thoughts on gold, I've kind of switched to silver here. I think silver is going to outperform over the next couple of months. But where gold gets really strong is November, December, and then January. So when you hear the January effect, you hear about that. It starts getting front run, I think, in December And in January, historically, that's the best month for gold. So maybe a little bit of chop in gold over the next couple of months, and then the final stretch, and then into January, it should pick up. And the trade that I have on today, Larry, and I texted you yesterday. I'm looking for deep because the premium is so tight. I'm looking to either buy premium or sell deep in the money call spreads if I'm looking for a move down. I had a trade like that on Friday. It took a 5 point move. I was able to sell in the money call spreads 10 point wide for like 750, and all it took was a 5 point move, and I was able to pick up like 350 in premium on that, which is insane to pick
Well,
up so much premium.
you caught a move. If the SPU goes down $50 and you sell a $20 spread for 17, you're going to make 17. So you got to be right on the move. Um, as far as I want to touch on Bitcoin and then I want to wrap because we're 8 minutes before the opening. But to me, Bitcoin hasn't done anything really in months and months and months. Trump got elected, it exploded over 100,000, went to 124,000. It's like 113,000 or whatever right now. But it really hasn't done anything in months and months and months. And I think it's an overowned institutional asset. And it's going to be hard to get the returns that you've gotten in Bitcoin in your life in the future. Because for Bitcoin to double, which it's done many, 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 many times and gone up 50-fold, it's going to have to go to 200,000, 250,000. So I don't see that in the cards. And nobody that's in Bitcoin right now, nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, but 90% of the people trading Bitcoin have never seen a Bitcoin nuclear winter, okay, or a crypto winter, okay, and that comes every 3 to 4 years. So I'm not saying this is the year, I'm not saying next year's the year, but it's coming, and when that comes, it's more painful than a bear market in equities. It's brutal. I'm telling you, brutal. But you have all these products now, double Bitcoin, triple Bitcoin. So you have all of this stuff. So I would be careful in there. I think that it's following equities. So if the equities happen to get hit, that's going to get hit harder. But I want to wrap. So I don't know if you want to end on anything, but overall, quiet day. Markets bid to the moon, especially on S&P. And, we'll have to see where everything goes later.
Yeah, I'll end on one thing. I've admittedly turned a little bit bearish here, and I maintain that. But when I turn really bearish, I always look for something to buy. And as the market has been going up, there's a stock called AST SpaceMobile. This is supposed to be a retail favorite, right? But this company actually has clients locked up like Vodafone, T-Mobile, Verizon, the U.S. government. The quality of its revenue stream going forward is extremely high, very high quality, right? As opposed to like Oracle, which has a lot of like promises, like a pro forma kind of thing. AST has like locked up clients, and the stock got hit because the market has thought that okay, Starlink is going to be a competitor now, so it has fallen off. And last week I've been buying, and I have call options on AST. I think it's getting higher. $40 a share is an important level technically for it, and that's a position that I'm currently in.
Mhm. All right. Well, listen, we're 6 minutes from the opening. We're getting off right now. I wish everybody a great trading day. I hope you got insight from us, and we'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Enjoy the day.